Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Kelsey Calasi. Thank you for joining us. Our top story tonight, coronavirus in Arizona. This morning, the Arizona Department of Health Services reported over 5,000 new cases and over 200 additional deaths from COVID-19. That brings the state totals to over 748,000 infections and over 13,000 fatalities. Arizona experienced its second spike of coronavirus at the end of 2020 and early this year. According to the AZDHS statistics, people who are 65 and older are the most at risk, with 9,721 of the over 13,000 deaths coming from this demographic. It's been nearly a year since anyone has really experienced a live concert due to COVID-19. Independent venues are struggling more than most industries, and there's no way around it. These venues are not making money and possibly won't see any sort of income for another 10 to 12 months. Cronkite News reporter Reed Harmon has more on the empty stages.
There is no better atmosphere than attending an intimate show at an independent venue. In Tucson, for example, there's the Rialto Theater, a staple in the city.
It's just, grungy enough to be cool without being grungy, if that makes any sense. And it's just a treasure.
Right now, that Tucson treasure is not showing its grunge side to any fans. The Rialto hosts more than 400 concerts per year, but has been unable to set up the stage since the pandemic started. Instead, its only focus to save the stage, something that a national organization is helping with.
All of us banding together around one message and one very clear and simple message, and utilizing all the tools we had. And one is that we're in every single city. There's music venues in every single city in America. And so when we started our grassroots outreach to, lobbying congressmen and senators, they may not know a bunch about our industry, but they know the venues that are important to them and their district.
NEVA, or the National Independent Venues Association, helped pass the Save Our Stages Act, a government-run program that provides a $15 billion grant that helps hundreds of independent venues.
It's supposed to not only get us from the start of the pandemic to here, but really get us to the other side. This is to give the financial stability for venues to come back.
When those intimate venues are filled with rowdy fans again, that's when we all know that the thrill of live music is finally back. We've seen drive-in concerts and streaming performances, but according to Chilton, those are, quote, festival-style productions with a club-style audience, end quote. He said the revenue of those events are equivalent to 1 to 2 shows per year. In Phoenix, Reed Harmon, Cronkite News.
Right now, the Arizona National Guard is helping administer COVID-19 vaccines in La Paz County. According to the Arizona Department of Health Services database, La Paz County has experienced more than 2,000 cases and almost 60 deaths due to the virus. That's why more than 650 guardsmen are assisting at vaccination sites, testing locations, and food banks. The guardsmen are scheduled to help assist the administering of COVID-19 vaccines, as well as helping to distribute the vaccination to sites throughout Arizona. Republican state lawmakers in the battleground states of Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania have moved to impose new restrictions on mail-in voting for future elections. All 3 states are arguing for added security and proposing steps that would make it harder to qualify or cast mail-in ballots. In Arizona, one GOP-sponsored bill would repeal the state's permanent early voting list, which allows a voter to automatically receive a ballot by mail for every election. Another bill would remove voters from early voting lists if they don't vote in the primary and general elections twice in a row. The election committee is also thinking about requiring voters to drop off their mail-in ballots before Election Day. Arizona came close to setting several weather records last year. It turns out that 2020 was officially the second hottest and second driest year recorded in our state's history. And Phoenix set some of its own records. In July, the city set a new record for the hottest month ever, with an average temperature of 98.9 degrees. But that record was broken in August with an average just above 99 degrees. Phoenix also saw the most days at or above 100 degrees over the summer. Climatologists warn that these warm temps are likely to stick around. In fact, the 5 hottest years on record happened within the last 6 years. Coming up next on Cronkite News, youth turnout during election 2020. We take a look back at how young voters took the lead in this election cycle. And on Break It Down, fulfilling New Year's resolutions in a healthy way.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS. Take a journey with Arizona PBS. Join us every Sunday afternoon for Destination Drama. Watch all your favorite PBS dramas like Grantchester,
I'm William Davenport, new vicar of Grantchester.
Poldark,
Nothing in my life has meaning without you.
and Victoria.
I know that I'm young, but I know my duty.
And if you missed a recent primetime drama, we'll help you catch up on those too. Destination Drama, every Sunday afternoon at 1, only on Arizona PBS.
The Black church has been the root of the most celebrated aspects of Black culture.
Gospel music is about the majesty of Jesus.
It sets the tone for how you will feel when the word comes forth.
It's such a distinct flavor of music.
It's something about those songs that brings joy.
The Black Church. Coming in February to Arizona PBS.
Stream the best of PBS on any device with the PBS Video app. All your favorite drama, history, science, news, and documentaries, all in one place. Watch your PBS station live or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and locally produced shows from your station.
Sign in and start streaming today.
During the pandemic, underserved communities have sustained difficult times, but there have been resources to help families in need during the COVID-19 crisis. A health organization in Nevada has found ways to service their local community. Cronkite News reporter Carolina Lopez explains what they do.
Reno is known as the biggest little city in the world. It is located in northwest Nevada and has a population of 255,000, according to the 2019 census. Emily Williams of the Community Health Alliance says they opened the health center in this city 30 years ago to help those who could not afford basic health care.
Physicians in this area said there is just not enough services for people who can't afford health care.
According to the Nevada Gaming Control Board, in June there was a 50% decrease in Nevada's economy, affecting casino employees, including Reno's.
I mean, you would just be surprised about how many children have not even been introduced to certain fruits and vegetables. So we work with our local food bank, bring in some type of food each week for them to try.
According to the Census Bureau, this Hispanic population in this area is 24.1%, of which 15.9% live in poverty. Williams says her clinic focuses on helping families in need and underserved communities.
When you leave and you've said, I'm food insecure, you take home a box of food that day, and then you can visit throughout the month to get other food for your family. It's not just for, the one person that visited.
The services that Community Health Alliance offers are basic medical care, dental services, nutritional programs, pediatrics, and pharmaceutical services. During the pandemic, they have found different ways to reach communities in need. Megan Dugan, Director of Community Relations, recalls times when they had to manage to help quarantine families.
We were able to adapt and deliver that food to their house. We haven't been able to do that like
often, but we're willing and able to do so to ensure that families have food on their plate at night.
Community Health Alliance works with federal funds and accepts patients with or without health insurance. Their services are offered to all communities regardless of immigration status. Carolina Lopez, Cronkite News.
There's no doubt disinformation is swirling around on social media, potentially manipulating this November election, and the Latino vote is especially vulnerable. Cronkite News reporter Kylie Cochran shows us how disinformation targeting the Latino electorate can impact a battleground state like Arizona.
Sharing false facts unknowingly through misinformation is problematic for democracy. But there's a subcategory that's intentionally malicious: disinformation.
The purpose of disinformation is to change people's political reactions.
Derek Bambauer is an internet law professor at the University of Arizona who studies the impact of disinformation on elections.
Latinos are very likely to be swing voters. They could easily decide the presidential election and the pending Senate elections in these states. And that means that they're both enormously valuable and also enormously attractive targets for misinformation or disinformation.
One first-time Latino voter, Fernanda Ruiz Martinez, remains in high spirits despite these information hurdles.
I went and picked up my ballot from my mailbox, and it was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like, it's finally here, you know?
But disinformation is still getting through to the Latino electorate, which represents the largest group of minority voters at 32 million eligible citizens, according to Pew Research. One common form of suppression is creating confusion about safely voting by mail.
I was on the phone with someone and they were afraid of sending their ballot by mail. Instead of making them feel like scared about it, I told them vote early.
Social media acts as an accelerator for disinformation, which means it spreads quickly. Here on Facebook, here on Twitter, here on WhatsApp, and here on TikTok. But social media can also be used as a force for good. Ruiz Martinez is volunteering with voting groups like Mi Familia Vota and One Arizona. She creates content targeted towards youth in her community with this goal in mind.
Yeah, just make it easy for them to understand the political process and don't feel overwhelmed when they see their ballot.
Bambauer believes minority voters can be disproportionately overwhelmed by the political process.
They have an understandable and historic skepticism of some of the same institutions that we are directing them to consult or to place faith in as a way of weeding out fake news from real news.
That disinformation is hard to avoid online, some of which reflects the QAnon conspiracy theories about President Trump saving America from global elites who run child sex trafficking rings. So for Ruiz Martinez, getting her community the accurate information remains the priority.
My focus here is to make sure that everyone within my community, the Latinx community, which is a very important ethnic voting bloc in this election, they get the information that they need.
Kylie Cochran, Cronkite News.
Election Day isn't just about November 3rd. Now is the time to vote early or drop off your ballot. For accurate election information, contact your county recorder's office or visit azcleanelections.org.
There were a lot of record highs and unique situations in this election cycle, but one that has definitely left its mark: youth turnout. Our Los Angeles Cronkite News reporter Patty Vicente talks to youth voters, poll workers, and organizers across the Southwest.
When first-time voter Yesenia Ramirez Garcia received her ballot, the Goleta, California resident was quick to return it. It was a day she looked forward to since turning 18 this year. Now she works to motivate others to vote.
We take voting as like our power. You know, we recognize that that is something that we can do to make change in this country.
Many older volunteers couldn't work at the polls this year due to the threat of COVID-19. So young volunteers answered the call. Experts hope their participation will lead to a new generation of poll workers. President and CEO of Fair Election Center, Robert Brandon says those volunteers are vital, especially when voter turnout is high.
But we're going to have a much different generation of poll workers going forward, a younger group, a more diverse group. They're going to look more like the voters they try to help, and a more technologically savvy group, because young people are much more facile when it comes to the changing technology that voting is encompassing these days.
Researchers at Tufts University say in Arizona, 17% of voters were between the ages of 18 and 29 in 2020. 18-year-old Ethan Vandeven from Litchfield Park says voting is all about doing your part.
We need to vote so we can get who we want in office and hopefully move the country forward.
Beyond exercising the right to vote, advocates like Pomona native Arlene Alonzo want to educate communities.
Voting is just one tool. You know, we have many tools, we have many resources. However, to make the changes that we'd want to make, we need to come together as a community. We need to go ahead and have each other's back in a sense.
In Los Angeles, Patty Vicente, Cronkite News.
Phoenix Sun Center DeAndre Ayton recently partnered with Banner Estrella Medical Center to transform their respite rooms. Cronkite News reporter Adam Noel talked with members of Banner Estrella team about the changes that have been made.
Signed on for the rest of the season, the Rockets is Ayton.
Although he's been known across the NBA for his skills above the rim, DeAndre Ayton is dishing an assist to the Banner Estrella Medical Center.
Great catch from Ayton.
The Phoenix Sun Center partnered with Banner Estrella to transform the center's respite rooms.
So being able to provide them a safe space where they can remove their PPE really helped provide them an opportunity to decompress, to relax, recharge.
Among the added amenities to the new respite rooms are massage chairs, tablets with a preloaded Spotify playlist, and lots of Puma socks for the Banner Estrella team. One of the rooms was also outfitted with Suns gear, including a framed and signed Ayton jersey.
In partnership with DA is really kind of how this came to be. And the team was really overwhelmed with this particular support.
So I'm actually in the room that they added the jersey in. And it just kind of like when you come in here, it's just there's other people thinking about you.
Banner Estrella has been one of the leaders in the fight against COVID-19 here in Arizona. So far in 2020, the medical center has discharged over 1,100 COVID patients. For Kirsten Halliday, a speech-language pathologist at Banner Estrella, the ability to take a break amidst the prolonged fight is everything.
And it's just a good minute to like take your mask off and breathe. So it's just a really good way to get away from the hospital for a few quick minutes.
And this isn't the first time Ayton has partnered with Banner. During the NBA season hiatus, Ayton catered 300 meals and donated 1,000 pairs of slides to Banner Desert Medical Center. The Sun Center continues to give back to his local community. Adam Noel, Cronkite News.
The transformed respite rooms at Banner Estrella are open to all members of the medical center staff. That means they'll all be able to check out the big upgrades.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.